Are we live again? Yeah, we are. Good to know. It goes up to Facebook faster than YouTube. So while I'm waiting on YouTube, I can share this to my personal page. Oh yeah, I gotta do it from my phone. Alright, so we are going to find this Facebook page and share this live stream. Back up, finishing. Alright. Let me see. Did it work? Alright. We are good. Gucci LaFleur. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Alright, back in it. So, definitely for now, I'm happy with that shot. We had ended with this false color plugin, just talking about that. If you were wondering what it does, go check out the last stream before this one. Okay, the next shot. Karen. So here's a little thing I learned about the color tab recently in Davinci. If you want to be able to scroll through that whole timeline like this, be over here in this timeline part of the nodes, and we are now, okay, let me go back to that. Sorry. I need to put my phone away. When you're here on the timeline view, it is going to take you through all your clips, which I don't like because when I'm trying to grade one clip, I try to find a spot I like right there. We already did that one. So now we're on to this clip. And now I can only scrub through the clip, which is perfect. That's what I want. So this one's tricky. The beginning's too bright. The end's too dark. All right. Boom. Let's go back to our curves. We're definitely going to reset this. Interestingly enough, this is like where it needs to be almost on the whites compared to like this last clip. We're almost to 50% just because not as much contrast in the image to begin with. That we wanted to hit black, so that looks pretty perfect. Let's add our saturation back. Yeah, these colors look nice for no transform or anything like that. I like that. Let's just play it and see.
Anyone I know that does yoga says that it changed their life. So I was like, how cool would it be to share that with people?
Okay, it's a little too dark in general compared to that last shot, which I like where the last one was at. So, what to do? Make this a little brighter? Yes. Maybe back off on the blacks a little. And we'll probably end up putting some contrast in the mids. This looks like a little washed out to me, but I don't necessarily want the colors to be more intense.
To share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces someone to something that can completely change everything. And so the first studio I ever went to, I asked the lady, I was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like, I want to teach. And anyone I know that does yoga says that it changed their life. So I was like, how cool would it be to share that with?
Yeah, it's closer. Definitely closer. I'm gonna take this down just one to be safe. Okay. Maybe right around here. I'm gonna try something I haven't done before. So, don't bite me if it looks like crap. Let's take, I don't really want to key the hue and the saturation, but let's key the luminance range. Bring it down, make it a little softer, a little higher, and the high range softer, low range down, highs up. Okay, this is kind of like the mid tones right here. I like the whites and blacks where they are, but I'm gonna add some contrast to these mids. Oh yeah, that looks nice.
Share that with people.
It's punching, but not like too hard, which is what I want. Some of my stuff's looking a little washed out lately, but I don't want it to look harsh. And I'm no freaking colorist by any means. I am not gonna pretend to be. So, before and after. Now's your time to tell me if I'm screwing up.
To share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces. Anyone I know that does yoga says that it changed their life. So I was like, how cool would it be to share that with people, to maybe be the.
Yeah, I think this is too bright right here, but it's such a small part of the actual exposure. I think I need to be pushing for right here. So I'm gonna bring, no, I'm on the wrong node. Excuse me. I'm gonna bring the whole image up some. Now we're gonna readjust our black point. And kind of our white point.
To share that with people, to maybe be the.
Alright, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna back off this a little. I've kind of evened out some of the differences in between the bright and the dark, but it's starting to look washed out again, so we're gonna have to do that a different way, I think. Yeah. So now I'm gonna take another node here, come over into my keyframes. This is corrector 4. If I highlight that little red thing right here, then I can automate this stuff, or keyframe it, as they call it in the video editing world. If you're an audio person, you'll know what automation is. So I want to automate this offset, basically, to get brighter as this image comes down. So first of all, I don't want it to get any brighter until it starts to get darker, which is right about here. I'm going to hit another one on 25. That's just marking the value, and then come down to here, and we're going to ramp up to right about there.
That with people, to maybe be the person.
And
To share that with people, to maybe be the.
That's great, but look, it's all milky now. Okay, no big deal. Just come in here to your lift, set a marker there, and then have this automate itself too.
To share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces.
I think that took care of the last little bit.
To share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces.
It's looking pretty good now. come over here. Now this one, instead of doing this, we're going to reset it. Where's their bright part? Okay, there I can see some of that window. It gives me something white to look at. Now, I'll come over here. You probably want to be able to see these graphs better while I'm doing these curves. Boom. We're gonna make that hit black. Just 0. It's pretty much already at white. And see, that's where we're gonna have to come in again and key those midtones, which is cool. I might just turn this into I can try this. Save it as a shared node and see if it applies on this image. Let me delete this. Keep only what we need. Add node, shared node 1. Yeah. Now we can keep that mid-range contrast bump consistent to all the shots it will apply to.
To share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces someone to something that can completely change it.
All right, now we've got saturation.
Person who introduces.
Add our saturation back. I'm sorry. I didn't realize
Someone.
my speaker's bumping super loud. Probably had some funkiness coming through the microphone. Hopefully that's fixed now. Yeah. All right.
Something that can completely change everything. And
Okay, so yeah, I was saying the saturation needs to be added back here. What's this node doing? Nothing yet. Okay, yeah, that shouldn't even be there. Got it. We're kind of like somewhere in the 60 range. We don't need the color to come across too strong, but I don't want it to be washed out either. We're not going for that White House press briefing color grade lately. That stuff's looked funky. It's just like they threw the long image up on TV. They don't have a budget for the editor. More important stuff at hand right now. Space Force. Alright, so this wall's supposed to be white. This is kind of a good time to come check on your false colors. Alright, see? Her skin tone's really pale. So that's pretty reasonable. Why is it so hot on her foot, though? I might come a little too far here. Whoops. Why'd they get unlinked? Oh. I'm not on the clip anymore. That's why. Yeah. Alright. Let's turn. Now it's time to open the remote. Don't be like this. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Alright, that's really good. And then, yeah. So now we're on this clip. This false color plugin is cool. I'm going to set it to on top. And now it's in a breakout window, so I can see both. I'm willing to crush some of these for the look. You don't really need to see any of this detail in black pants. And I think that's looking healthy. Let's see what happens if we go for this shared node. Yeah, that really pops it to life. And we'll get our colors. That might be too much with the mid-range contrast added. That's nice. That's not
everything. And so the first studio I ever went to, I asked the lady, I was like, hey, how do I...
Let's figure this one out. Oh, I never reset this one. Oops. No wonder why that needed such a tiny bump. It's been a long day, y'all. 56. Everything else is at 65. Which maybe it shouldn't be. Let me know if you think the image is too warm or anything. Like, this is one thing that I'm especially open to feedback-wise. Because I don't know if my display's calibrated well or not. To be honest with you. Like, I really don't. And, so I can do this trick I showed in the last stream with this window, highlighting the key, blah, 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 checking your white balance. Like, okay, it does look like it might be a little too warm. This will work a lot better where the color's more consistent, if that makes sense. So it seems like it does want to be around 56, which might actually let me get it a little more saturated too. Okay. Yeah, now let's get rid of that, and we're gonna get rid of that. And then now we're gonna come on, bring this back. Get rid of that for a second. And then now's where we want to bring this up to a proper white. This wall. It doesn't have to be scathing white because we definitely don't want it to like look like that, or it's just like starting to get a weird gradient on it and stuff. But we don't want it to look like that either, then it's looking grayish. I think that's a decent balance. It's without that shared node. With it, definitely gonna add, oh, that's too much saturation. Bring it back down. Okay. Yeah, I think that's nice. Now we gotta see. What happens if we bring this to 56? How's that look? Yeah, that pink looks nice, so does the purple. That's at 56 as well. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna wanna bring it, all this stuff to 5600. Okay. Let me take this down for a minute. Wait, cancel. Just hit the space bar. Now it's not always on top. And this will come back. Yeah. That looks
First studio I ever went.
Alright, now we gotta do this shot. This is a good still right here. It's a total accident, but I'm happy about it. We're gonna reset the image. Bring it down to daylight, color balance. And start with the workflow that we've been doing. Let's hit our black point. It's our white point. Add the shared node for that mid-range bump. And then throw our contrast, saturation up. Around 60.
I ever went to, I asked the lady, I was like, hey, how do
Okay, this shot's probably gonna need the most work right here so far. It's looking like I might have shot it a little off. Let's see when we reset it. Oh, no. I remember why. I used a different part of it that was darker in a different spot than the other one. The other video I edited before. Color temp, yeah, all this is good. 400 film, blah blah blah. Back on the bullshit. Oh man, if that window gets a little bit hot, I'm cool with that. This one.
How do I do what you do? Like I want to teach.
I like it.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do? First studio I ever went to, I asked Lady, I was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like
I might bump up the whole exposure after I add this node. Yeah. I'll do that in the raw tab though. I'm gonna come up by a third of a stop. And let's adjust our black and white points accordingly.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like I want to teach. Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do?
This section gets a little washed out, and then it kind of comes back around for a sec. No.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do?
So I think what I'm going to do here is really similar with the keyframing in that other shot. Corrector 3 this time. I'm going to try this two ways. We can try by pulling the offset down as soon as it hits here. But if that seems to be the peak of it.
I do what you do. Like I want to.
Let's see how that looks.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like I want to teach.
Okay, cool. I want it to fade back out. I think what happened here was like a little bit of almost like if it was harder light, you probably would have seen a lens flare right there. But it just made it a little bit soft.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like I want to teach.
That looks pretty natural though. I'm gonna be real. I ain't too mad at that. We didn't do the saturation, I don't think. Or if we did, I accidentally did it inside of a node. Nope, we haven't done it yet.
Lady was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like I want to teach.
Yeah. Let's reset this shot. Go back to my graphs over here. And this might move it up here. Because then you can see what I'm doing down here on these curves. So we got a nice white on her shirt. Let's bring back this false color window here. You can press space and it'll highlight this button, which leaves it on top. Same idea. We don't want that white shirt to look gray. Maybe the brightest part should be tipping on that yellow. This 80 to 90 range. And I think yeah, I don't want to crush the blacks too hard. Her pants are fine. That's looking nice to me. Get our contrast back in the mids. And a nice saturation to the look. I really like these Blackmagic colors right now, camera. They look awesome. All right, let's see what we got so far from the beginning.
Anyone I know that does yoga says that it.
Hold on, let me get this thing out of the way.
Anyone I know that does yoga says that it changed their life. So I was like, how cool would it be to share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces someone to something that can completely change everything. And so the first studio I ever went to, I asked the lady, I was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like, I want to teach. And she, explained all of the steps to me, and it was probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally in
Okay. Looking good to me. Let's keep going. Oops, wrong one. I hit the interview footage. Huh. Interested to see how this one comes out. It looks like I might have underexposed it a tad. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got the mood to it for sure.
Explained all of the steps to me, and it was
Just gonna brighten the low mids, but keep all these where they were.
explained all
There's probably like a little bit of noise in here. If we zoom
of the
Yeah, I stretched that one a little hard. Oops.
steps to
Should have shot that one a tiny bit brighter. That's okay. It's raw.
explained all
You won't need much noise reduction on that.
of the steps
Let's give her color back a little. Saturation.
to me, and it was how
Alright. Can we make this guy look better than what we started with? Actually, yeah. If it is 65, we're going to cool you off. Actually, warm it up. Never mind. Let's go. We're warming up the white balance. That would cool off the image. Boom. All this is the same. So there's no like real white in this shot because this white t-shirt is in shadow. The closest thing is gray, which that's definitely still a bright gray. Yes, I think that's correct. I don't know if that should be white or not. Let's see. Add to outer midtones and your saturation.
to me, and it was probably not even to me, and it was
Yeah, I think it needs a little more oomph to it.
probably
Now
to
that
me, and it was probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally invested my life savings in a
Alright. Moving on. Cool. Boom. Let's get white where it needs to be first. So now I'm kind of feeling that this could use a general bump of also about a third of a stop. And then right there.
Probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally invested my life savings. Probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally.
Yeah, I'm liking the look to this. It's a little punchier than my last edit. That's what I wanted. Just not too intense, but a little bit punchier. This is a good one we can white balance for pretty easily. Too warm. That looks pretty friggin' neutral. It's really gray because we haven't applied our contrast and such. And now, start bringing that down. Start bringing that up. Honestly, that whole image needs to sit pretty close to white because that elephant is not much grayer than the wall. If that makes sense. This is a good instance of where that trick with the scopes works good on the indoor footage because this is part of the wall that's only being lit by that more yellow light. The daylight's gone because it's back in the corner. You can't, whatever would be left, I could have shot this at night too. Whatever was left is just not really playing in the image. So we're at 2600 just to get to not have a yellow cast to it, kind of.
Invested my life savings. Literally invested.
The lights were probably dimmed, if I had to guess, because they were on dimmers in there to get them that warm.
My life savings in a training and made the steps to be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that literally
Oh, you know, I never added
invested my life savings.
yeah.
Probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally invested my life savings in a training and made
This, interesting. Let's go here. Okay. We're gonna keep with the process we've got going here. We're gonna white balance. It's not even close. Cool it down till these are reading in the same realm. You can almost it's a little too cool now. If you were to make it the right color, it'll basically disappear when it's the right white balance. And then as you take it too cool and too warm. So if you're really bad at matching the graph, well, want to do it that way, that's always an option too. But I don't want it like that. So I'll just make sure these are like relatively close, and they are. Come off of this. It looks a little cool to the eye. We'll see once we apply our adjustments where we're at. We want that to be white. And we want these to be black. Add our shared node with that mid-range contrast bump in it. Come back and cool off the blacks a little bit. They got crushed down with that last node. And Alt S is how I've been adding a node here for the saturation.
and made the steps to be a yoga teacher.
I see the difference. I'm going for like definitely a more clinical white. This is now you're getting some of that blue light from the daylight for sure. You can see it now. So that'll probably have me kind of split the difference. I'll warm it up 100 degrees or so. Just so it doesn't look too
training
cold.
and made the steps to be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes.
And then what I'm going to do here is just copy that grade, because they're pretty much
Be a yoga teacher.
similar.
Did my life savings in a training and made the steps to be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that.
Now we're back into here. Let's reset this shot. Set my darks and my brights.
Quote that.
I'm feeling like this is a little too. I just want a little bit more.
Quote that.
Like that.
Quote. Be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that stuck with me throughout training and has stuck. Quote.
This whole image is too dark.
Quote that. Be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that stuck.
That's looking better. I'm gonna now add the saturation. That's right. Whew. I'm not as sharp as I was this morning. That's all right. I'm trying to get this whole video done today, just to see if I can, and see how long I can stream and stuff. So I'm definitely not gonna print it until the morning, because I tend to do that with projects where I sit on it for at least a little while before I send it off. Let me do one thing. We have lost all of our daylight for the day. Cool the camera off a little. There we go. Here, let me show the setup a little bit. So it's a aperture light, just a 120T. You can also use like a tungsten, whatever, for now. But that bulb will last longer. I don't use it for anything else either. Hitting into like a bounce board. There's the mic. And this camera in my hand is my Pocket 4K. And that's running into a capture card. And that's all running into Streamlabs OBS. You can see it's right here, this program. It's cool. I want to get into some gnarlier setups too that involve cool things like having multiple cameras to switch between and an editor to switch between it all. And I think that would be something really cool to start offering, like, especially people I know that have, like, can do their online, like Misfits are doing a lot of classes online right now with everything that's going on. And I think that's really cool, honestly. And let me get rid of that. That was starting to look a little funky. How's that look?
Quote that stuck with me throughout training.
But yeah, where we can kind of come into a space and do like live streaming, or just creating educational content, but with multiple cameras. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and kind of a cool way to keep people engaged if we're gonna have times like this where we can't really we have to limit like group contact. So I do a lot of concert stuff and come from the music world, so all those people are feeling it just as hard as anybody trying to do location work right now and everything. So we're all kind of in the same boat, and I think there's definitely some untapped potential here as far as this medium and stuff.
Yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that stuck with me throughout training and has stuck with.
And you know, this is what I do most days. Just you know, I spend several days a month on location and stuff, shooting and on set. But the days I'm not doing that, this is what I do. So it's just I'm almost just, you know, sharing my work day with everybody because I'm already here. This is not much different for me. And I'm definitely going to try to keep going into more stuff like the... I shared an article on Facebook that a lot of people vibed with, some tips on how to be productive working at home and stay on task, stuff like that. This is one thing that's helping me when I can't get some of my usual distractions and reliefs in, of kind of being able to get out and go do activities to give my mind some space. So, let's get cracking on this shot here. Do I like this? Let me make sure I like this. Am I going too extreme here?
Did my life savings into training and made the steps to be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that stuck with me throughout training.
How about this? Let's just keep going. We definitely want our blacks there and our whites there. Okay, this button is in a good spot. Let's add that mid-range. Bring back this saturation a few.
And has stuck with me throughout opening a business and taking all of these risks is to feel like you can.
Reset this shot. Leave a little bit of headroom. I think it's better.
Opening a business and taking all of these.
Yeah, it does.
These risks is to feel like you can do anything. Is to feel like opening throughout training and has stuck with me throughout opening a business and taking all.
Need them colors, boy. Okay, at this point, I am going to just nice pose, Josh, by the way. I'm going to save this as another shared node. I keep putting the same saturation on every single one. I can save time.
Is to feel like you can do anything.
What's up with this shot? We got to reset it. That's why it already looks done. 5600. There we are. Bring this so it's hitting black. Bring this so it's getting our whites in. We don't have much true white in this image. So this is the closest thing back here, and honestly this overexposed bit on the face. Now let's add our shared nodes. We're going to do 2 first because I've been putting the saturation before that contrast bump. I don't know if that's the best move or not, but that's what we've been doing. That shot looks nice. It's a little too harsh though. I'm going to redo my blacks and even just tone it on the whites ahead.
Opening a business and taking all of these risks is to feel like you can do anything, do the thing that scares you the most. Is to feel
I do want to crank this just
like you can do
more.
Anything, do the thing that scares you the most. Is opening a business and taking all of these risks is to feel like you can do anything, do the thing that scares you the most.
Okay, reset that. All the white balance is where the other shots are. Set that point. Set. So this is an instance where you can't just trust the scopes, because that's clipping white in a very insignificant portion of the sky. Let's boost it till what we want to be the right colors are the right color, or right exposure. The levels sit where we want them. That looks good. Node 2. Node 1. That's nice and punchy.
That scares you the most. And I just come back to that over and over again.
Just go reset this. Take a little reading here. Do our white balance. These are the trickiest ones. These ones of the lobby. Highlight that, just as I suspected. We're a little too warm. That's looking pretty neutral. And now we can keep going. Stretch. Never mind. Not until we take that off. There's black. When you're not sure, I like to just, I know 896 or so is definitely like something is white. And if it starts to affect the skin tones, like right there, then don't push it farther than it wants to be, in my opinion. Add some saturation. Get that mid-range contrast.
I just come back to that over and over again because it's so true. Every time I do something that scares you the most. And I just come back to that over and over again because it's so true. Every time I do something that is terrifying. Every time I try a new pose that I might.
Cool. These should be pretty straightforward. Just gonna reset that. Boom, boom, boom. You can see some of these shots are definitely a little all over the place because things happen really fast in doc shooting. And that's one reason I really love shooting on camera with RAW. Because I'm going to trust the false color here. Yeah, that's healthy. Now we've pushed it a little.
Because it's so true. Every time I do something that is terrifying.
Now, get to go here. Boom. See, here's a good instance. Knowing where you want things. You're not supposed to clip anything, right? No, I mean, look, it's just it's already white, and yeah, it kind of looks gray to the eye, and you know, if you really think about it, it's a gray sky, not a white sky. But also, like, when you're translating reality to video, you want a window to be brighter than the inside, and we're exposing for the inside, so that's like a little bit over, and that's what you'd want. Now we're gonna add our saturation, our mid-range bump, and it's looking nice. In here, we're at 5600K. Okay, cool.
Because it's so true. Every time I do something that is terrifying. Every time I try a new pose that I might fall.
And now, this one can be reset. Reset. Definitely going to watch the false color in the graph closely on this one. Watch. do our white balance. There's definitely like some colors in this image here, so we're gonna take a real small sample of what should be neutral, highlight it, boom, we got our, okay. Same as all the other shots that were in this area. It's a little too warm. That's neutral, 27. And the reason I'm not just copying and pasting it from another shot is because these were in the lobby where there was a lot of mixed lighting. There's some warmer spots, some darker spots. So I'm using the graph for each one, being a little bit more methodical with it, I guess. Whereas all these ones where I know they were lit by only natural daylight and by my lights, I don't have to do anything but set them to where they're all the same. And yep, we're on the clip, but we got our thing highlighted. Take that off, qualifier, whatever it's called. So this says we're hitting black. This says we're hitting a little above middle gray, which is about right. Like this is, we don't want this to look white. It should look grayish. So we're a little over a stop above middle gray. That's what the salmon actually is. One stop over middle gray. And anything above that with the light gray is a little bit above that.
I'm gonna try a new pose that I might fall and bust.
So now let's finish our chain here that we've got going. These two nodes.
I'm gonna try a new pose that I might fall and bust my face. I'm gonna try a new pose that I might fall and bust my face.
You know, I hope this will look good. I'm definitely cranking it a little harder than some of my older work because I've noticed that it's just come out kind of soft lately. And I want this to be punchy. So maybe it's too much. We'll have to see. And it's a constant learning experience. Like, I do get a lot of experience doing this pretty often, but I'm still really new. And this isn't necessarily like the part that I'm the best at. So it's a lot of trial and error. And that's part of why I want to start coming online more and hopefully learning from people like that maybe do specialize more in this realm of it all. So let me go back in here. Davinci, sorry. Yeah, we want that on. We're looking at our scopes. We're doing our white balance. Now, what would it look like if we had a tint shift? You know what I mean? Like with magenta to turn it yellow. Well, now your green's gonna outpower everything. And we haven't had any shifts going on really in these images because we're shooting under pretty solid lighting. That seems a little cool to me. 2700, like a lot of the rest of it has been. Alright, let's do this now. Undo that. You just want the flower to hit black for sure. It's black ink. And we probably do want some of this. We're not going to worry as much about the window. I might kill that with a power window though a little bit. That's the first time I see where that's just like a little ugly to me. Maybe the highlight recovery will work? Nah, it's just too bright. Alright, hold on. That's a little too bright too though. That's looking good. Maybe crush these blacks just a little harder. And then add that second shared node for the saturation. Then the first one for the mid-range bump. Yeah, then this. Let's go back to here. I'll float these a little bit. Crush those a little bit. That's looking nice. All right, power window. Power window time. What can we do here?
Bust my face in.
So, I'm not a fan of how bright this is. And therefore, we're just gonna fix it in post. Everybody's least favorite method ever. Haha. Sometimes it's the only way, though. It can be a necessary evil. But another advantage of shooting raw. So now, we're just kind of leveling that difference a little. See, there, it's too bright. Now it's probably too dark. And the answer is down the middle. It's just a little less harsh, a little less blown out. It's definitely a choice, a stylistic choice. Okay, I don't want it to be too dark though either. It should probably be hitting white. Yeah. That's better. It's
Bust my face in every time.
we don't have to track it or anything. The motion's all just moving down, so it's pretty simple to follow, actually, which is nice. Let's do. What's next? That shot's done.
Bust my face in every time I open a business or
Now here's where the mixed light gets tough, because if we balance to it, the blue really starts to show up from these windows on the skin, and that is we'll go in on your tattoo, Jordan. See how that tattoo looks real blue? That's because in this elbow right here is real blue. That's because it's the last of the daylight coming through, and these top lights are like natural halogen lights, so they're a lot warmer in color. Now if you balance purely for the blue, like let's get this to read neutral, this part of her skin. That's like what her skin color is, I think. Now look how warm the background is. And this is a problem I have at the tattoo shop a lot too, actually. They have so much daylight coming through, and they're natural. They've got a lot of flood bulbs that are tungsten balanced, and it does kind of that same thing. So I usually try to go for the skin tone, and all their ring lights and the LEDs and all that stuff that they're using are really all daylight too. So we got that mixed color contrast thing going on at the tattoo shop a lot. What I think to do when you've got skin tone is the best thing to do is just split it down the middle a little bit. And yeah, this is a little too warm in the background and a little too cool in the foreground. But sometimes you gotta deal with what you got. This is one of those instances because, like, unlike the yoga part, it was dock style, but I got to light the space. This room here is just too small to let people interact and flow, but put up a bunch of stuff or like block out the windows or whatever like that. That was just not going to happen for this shoot. So I let it be to capture some genuine reactions. I mean, this is a great shot.
I open a business or do something.
That kind of takes precedent to technical things like the color mismatches, whatever. And like I said, you can creatively like mess with color contrast to have it look great. I'm not saying that this is always technically wrong. I just think when you see it in footage that's obviously kind of like documentary style capture, it really gives away that it was maybe like done run and gun, which I think somewhat exposes the production value. So I'm always trying to hide that it was just me shooting. Maybe make it look like it was whole crew that lit it, and little things like that are stuff I do my best to avoid when I can, but absolutely can't at all times. It's just not possible. And
I open a business or do something.
Let me see what I got here. I still gotta now reset this though. We're coming in to this. Boom. Set those shadows where they need to be. And then the whites up where they need to be. Definitely going to add these two nodes here. Still a little too warm, but I really don't want more blue in here. So what to do? You come in. We've used this one in the past to take some blue out, but I think this time we're going to take our yellow and take that out instead. That way we're not bluing up her skin, but we're bringing the room ambience back.
I open a business or do something crazy.
That seemed to work well for me.
I open a business or do something crazy.
Yeah, that's looking nice. This I know can kind of be here in this 27. It's not really catching any daylight. And we are going to keep going. I think there's only a few more shots to finish up, actually. And then I'm probably going to pop off and go watch some TV before bed. I'm getting tired.
I come out feeling so powerful and like I could literally take on the world.
Leave a little bit for these two.
Something crazy. I come out feeling so powerful and like I could literally take on the world. So powerful and like I could literally take on the world. So
Alright, here we are. Come in, reset. This is a nice one. Nice easy one for the indoor stuff. We don't have nearly as much of that mixed light going on. And we're gonna highlight that. They're too warm. Judging by what all the other ones without any mix have gone, yeah, 26 to 27. Yeah, just as I suspected. Now, going through the steps again. After we disable that, which has also been one of the steps lately. Keep forgetting to unhook that. And this is a contrasty one, y'all. Okay, their skin tones look a little lifeless to me. I'm gonna come back here, uncrush the shadows some, bring up the low mids, and bring down the highs. Maybe even warm this up about 100 degrees.
feeling so powerful and like I could literally take on the world.
That's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna watch this all the way through.
Anyone I know that does yoga says that it changed their life. So I was like, how cool would it be to share that with people, to maybe be the person who introduces someone to something that can completely change everything. And so the first studio I ever went to, I asked the lady, I was like, hey, how do I do what you do? Like, I want to teach. And she, explained all of the steps to me, and it was probably not even a year later that I signed up for a training. Literally invested my life savings in a training and made the steps to be a yoga teacher. One of my favorite quotes that stuck with me throughout training and has stuck with me throughout opening a business and taking all of these risks is to feel like you can do anything, do the thing that scares you the most. And I just come back to that over and over again because it's so true. Every time I do something that is terrifying, every time I try a new pose that I might fall and bust my face in, every time I open a business or do something crazy, I come out feeling so powerful and like I could literally take on the world.
All right, that's like pretty close. I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight, and probably go watch Altered Carbon. I'll be back up tomorrow for some finishing touches on all this and starting something different, because this is close. It's almost gone. And I got plenty more to get to. Hopefully you're finding something useful out of this, whether you're a business owner seeing the potential of streaming or a fellow creative trying to learn something. Yeah, it's a community that's going to grow over time. I know that much. I got some good plans for all this stuff. And so does my business partner, Raven. She's got some really cool ideas too. So, I'll be back up tomorrow. And this was a good first day of streaming.